How machine learning works in everyday life. Machine learning may sound like something from a science fiction movie, but the truth is that it's already deeply woven into our daily routines. From the moment you wake up in the morning to the time you go to bed at night, machine learning is quietly working behind the scenes to make your life easier, faster, and sometimes even safer. But before we dive into the everyday uses, let's take a moment to understand what machine learning actually is. At its core, machine learning is a method of teaching computers to learn patterns from data without being explicitly programmed. Instead of writing step-by-step instructions, programmers feed huge amounts of data into algorithms. Over time, the system begins to recognize patterns, make predictions, and improve based on feedback. Think of it like how humans learn from experience. The more experiences we have, the better we get at recognizing things and making decisions. Machine learning works in much the same way. Now let's explore how this powerful technology shows up in everyday life, often without us even realizing it. 1. Your morning alarm and sleep apps. Imagine waking up in the morning. You might use a smart alarm clock or a sleep tracking app on your phone or smartwatch. These apps don't just wake you up at a set time. Many of them analyze your sleep cycles using data from your movements, breathing, and even heart rate. Machine learning algorithms process this information to wake you during the lightest phase of your sleep cycle, so you feel less groggy and more refreshed. It doesn't stop there. Over time, the app learns your patterns: when you fall asleep, how often you wake up at night, and how your sleep quality changes. It can then give personalized tips like suggesting an earlier bedtime or warning you about how caffeine or screen time may be affecting your rest. 2. Voice assistants. As you start your day, maybe you say, "Hey Siri, what's the weather today?" Or "Alexa, play my morning playlist." These voice assistants use machine learning to recognize your voice, understand your request, and give the right response. At first, they might struggle with your accent or get confused when you ask something in a new way. But the more you use them, the smarter they get. Machine learning allows them to adapt to your speech patterns, learn your preferences, and provide increasingly personalized results. This is why over time, your assistant not only knows how you speak but also starts to anticipate your needs. If you always ask for the news after checking the weather, it may eventually start giving you both automatically. 3. Navigation and maps. Heading out the door, maybe you open Google Maps or Apple Maps to check the fastest route to work. This is one of the clearest examples of machine learning in action. Navigation apps don't just show maps, they predict traffic conditions by analyzing real-time data from millions of users. If there's an accident ahead, machine learning models quickly process that information and reroute drivers to avoid delays. Over time, these apps learn your habits. If you always stop at a certain coffee shop on your commute, your map might suggest it as a regular stop. The more you use it, the better it gets at tailoring routes and suggestions to your lifestyle. 4. Social media. Once you're on the train or bus, you probably open Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or Twitter. What shows up on your feed? That's machine learning at work. Social media platforms use complex algorithms to decide which posts, videos, or ads you're most likely to engage with. They track your likes, comments, shares, and even how long you pause on certain videos. From this data, machine learning models learn your interests and create a personalized feed. That's why your best friend might see a completely different set of posts even if you follow the same people. It's also why ads seem strangely accurate, like when you search for sneakers once and suddenly see sneaker ads everywhere. 5. Online shopping. During your lunch break, maybe you scroll through Amazon or another online store. Here again, machine learning is running in the background. Recommendation engines analyze your browsing history, purchase behavior, and even what people with similar tastes have bought. This allows the system to suggest items you're more likely to want. That's why Amazon's customers who bought this also bought section feels so spot on. Machine learning also helps retailers manage stock, predict demand, and set dynamic prices. Have you ever noticed flight or hotel prices changing depending on when you search? That's machine learning adjusting. 6. Emails and spam filters. Back at work, you open your email. Without machine learning, your inbox would probably be overflowing with spam. Spam filters use machine learning models to detect suspicious content based on keywords, sender history, and user behavior. Every time you mark an email as spam, or rescue one that got incorrectly flagged, the system learns and improves. The same goes for promotions, updates, and priority emails. Gmail, for example, uses machine learning to sort messages into categories so you can focus on what matters most. 7. Online banking and fraud detection. Let's say you make an online payment. Machine learning algorithms immediately analyze the transaction in real time to detect unusual activity. If the purchase seems suspicious, maybe it's from a different country or an unusual amount, the system can flag it or temporarily block it for security. Banks rely on machine learning for fraud detection because patterns of fraud change constantly. Traditional rules can't keep up, but algorithms that learn from massive amounts of data can spot irregularities quickly, protecting both you and the bank. 8. Streaming services. After work, you might relax by watching Netflix or YouTube. Ever wonder how Netflix seems to know exactly what you'd enjoy next? Machine learning drives its recommendation engine. It looks at your viewing history, compares it with millions of other users, and predicts what you'll want to watch. That's why after finishing one series, Netflix immediately suggests a similar one. YouTube works the same way. Its algorithm decides which videos appear on your homepage and in the up next queue, keeping you engaged for longer. 9. Smart home devices. Many homes now use smart thermostats, lights, or security systems. Machine learning helps these devices adapt to your routines. For example, a smart thermostat can learn when you're usually home and adjust the temperature to save energy. Smart cameras use machine learning to detect whether movement is from a person, a pet, or just a tree swaying in the wind. This reduces false alarms and keeps your home more secure. 10. Healthcare applications. Even if you don't notice it directly, machine learning is revolutionizing healthcare. Fitness trackers monitor your heart rate, steps, and activity levels. Apps analyze this data to give health tips tailored to your lifestyle. In hospitals, machine learning assists doctors by analyzing scans, predicting disease risks, and even recommending treatments. While you may not see this every day, the effects ripple into everyday life through earlier diagnoses, better treatment plans, and improved patient care. 11. Online learning and education. If you've taken an online course, you may have noticed that the platform suggests lessons or quizzes based on your performance. Machine learning tailors the learning path to your pace. For example, if you're struggling with a math problem, the system might offer easier practice questions before moving forward. If you're excelling, it may challenge you with harder problems. This personalized approach makes learning more efficient and engaging. 12. Everyday search engines. Of course, one of the biggest daily uses of machine learning is something we often take for granted: Google search. When you type a query, machine learning models instantly scan billions of web pages to deliver the most relevant results. They take into account your location, search history, and even what other users found helpful. That's why two people searching the same phrase might see different results. It's customized for each user. How machine learning learns. Now, let's step back and briefly look at how machine learning works behind the scenes. Machine learning systems need three main things: data, algorithms, and feedback. Data is the experience. The more data, the better the system can learn. Algorithms are the methods used to find patterns in that data. Feedback helps the system know if it's right or wrong so it can improve. There are different types of machine learning, like supervised learning, learning from labeled examples, unsupervised learning, finding patterns in unlabeled data, and reinforcement learning, learning from trial and error, like training a pet. The future of machine learning in daily life. Looking ahead, machine learning will only become more common in everyday life. Imagine refrigerators that suggest recipes based on what's inside, cars that not only drive themselves but also predict and prevent breakdowns, or personal assistants that help manage your mental health. Of course, this comes with challenges too. Privacy, data security, and fairness are big concerns. As machine learning becomes more powerful, society must ensure it's used responsibly. Conclusion. So, how does machine learning work in everyday life? Quietly, efficiently, and constantly. From the moment you wake up to the time you fall asleep, It's there, in your phone, your apps, your entertainment, your security, and even your health. It doesn't always look like futuristic robots or sci-fi movies. Instead, it looks like convenience, personalization, and subtle improvements that make life smoother. The amazing part is that most of the time, you don't even notice it. But once you do, you realize that machine learning isn't just the future. It's already here, shaping the world around you every single day.